Good morning. Now, after watching the trailer, have you guessed? Well, welcome to Slovakia. The thing is, this is our lovely neighbor, and in the end, we actually in Poland know practically nothing about this country. So that's one of the reasons, if not the main reason, today why I chose to visit it. Because if it's a neighbor and we know nothing about it, it's rather silly. But widely speaking, there are more issues. For example, pretty much everybody at one moment or another confuse Slovakia with Slovenia. Actually, I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you why they shouldn't get angry about it. So that's a detail coming later. Also, if you're from the States and you've been watching like horror slasher movies 10-15 years ago, you may think of Slovakia as one of the worst places on earth after a film or two called Hostel. No. Just no. Anyway, we are going to visit actually an exotic country. So the thing is, I started looking up books. So for example, my first choice, Lonely Planet. I know it's mainstream, but I find them actually good quality. So I started looking up. There is actually not a single guide only on Slovakia released by Lonely Planet. So let me compare it to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, exotic, we would say. How exotic is a country which has, in the last 10-15 years, 4 guidebooks released about it? It's not really exotic. You've got plenty of info. How exotic is that? Slovakia has none. I mean, you will find guides about Slovakia on the side of Czech Republic. Doesn't count. So it's an exotic country. There's no information on it separately, so to speak. So I'm gonna use, or I used as base, such a thing. It is in Polish, but it was actually written by an English author and by National Geographic. And when it comes to history, I mostly use this book. Again, it's a Polish author, but you will find, I simply have it on PDF, a English version of a book written by a Slovak professor, and in the description I'm gonna write the name of the author and of the book. So it's actually, you can find, of course, information. It's just not easy, turns out, to find something proper, thick on the topic. So what we're going to do is plenty of history. There are especially several parts of their history I find very interesting. So first, something called the Grand Moravia, one of the first Slavic feudal countries from more than 1,000 years ago. So that's going to be one topic I'm going to try to get deeper into. Then what we can call a 1,000-year marriage between Slovakia and Hungary. Of course, Middle Ages, that's when it began. And mind you, there are plenty of castles here. So we're going to go into the Middle Ages now and then. And if you're a fan of the Game of Thrones, prepare. There's going to be plenty. But then another very interesting time is the 16th century, time of Renaissance, when modern ethnic Hungary, so to speak, was conquered by the Ottoman Empire. And this is the moment where truly today's Slovakia became Hungary. All the important people from the Hungarian aristocracy and so on, they lived here pretty much. But it's also a time of Reformation, of Protestantism, and that's a very, very interesting time. We're going to go deeper into it, hopefully. And then we're going to have late 18th, 19th century Enlightenment Romanticism and the beginning of the Slovak national movement, their national identity. Fascinating topic, fascinating time. Gonna get deeper into it. Then another very interesting marriage. We're going to go deeper into the topic of Czechoslovacism, which is also fascinating. More on that definitely coming. And a controversial time. The first Slovak independence, Second World War. So we're going to talk about plenty of interesting topics, not only political, historical, but also social, especially 3 groups. Of course, Slovaks. There's going to be plenty of Hungarians as well, and Germans. So all of that coming up. But of course, it's not only such topics. Slovakia is nature. 70% of this country are mountains. So if you've heard of Slovakia, you may think of the Tatra Mountains, for example. Fine, completely. But it mostly depends on the weather. Unfortunately, from what I'm seeing, this May will not be very nice. Let's see what happens. But expect more culture than nature. Plus, of course, Slovakia is the land of beer. At least that's how we see it today. There's going to be beer coming, but not only. Expect some wine, maybe other beverages, and of course a bit of food, including some cultural bits and pieces to impress the Slovaks. Let's see what happens. But I'm very hopeful. 3-4 weeks, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be an interesting time. So let me give you now a little preview, a little insight to what's coming within the next month. In front of you is Maciej Bel's University. Now I do like the gentleman, at least when it comes to his name. I feel very connected, as it is my name as well, but that's not important right now. What's important is he was supposed to be heard saying that he is lingua slavus, natione hungaricus, eruditione germanus. So basically that he spoke his native language was Slavic, that he felt nationally as Hungarian, and by upbringing German. So what it really meant, and definitely it is going to keep on coming back, as this gentleman is a symbol pretty much of history of Slovakia. So the topic will be coming back all the time. We are going to come back to Banská Bystrica as well. One extra detail, the folk culture in Slovakia is still very strong, and we were actually lucky to witness the very first evening a very interesting ritual. What we have just witnessed is called moi or a maig. So you've got this kind of a palm tree with birch on top, and back in the day, several hundred years ago, that's something that boys would put up in front of the cottages of the girls they like. Then they have to guard it for a full night so that no competition comes and gets rid of it. Today it kind of moved to either the main church or the main square in a village, but as you can see, it is still very much practiced, and you can see an interesting detail. It is the boys working and the girls are right there singing, and it is performed last day of April to the first day of May, and we happen to be there, the right time, the right place. Also, we got a little gift.
Gotowe?
Malinóweczka.
Na zdrowie!
Now, here's something you would call an epic fail. So let's change the image to Slovak Robin Hood, and we're gonna have some more folk culture coming soon.